Hey everybody, Jim Chester here with Chiro Hustle Podcast. This is a co-branded one here with Natalie and Local Gold. So I'll duck down so you can see their signage right above my head. And Dane ducks down so you can see Chiro Hustle above his head. So we make it fun, right? Here's the logo you should check out too. It's called 8 Weeks to Wellness. And this guy started an empire. I don't know how many clinics you're at right now, but there's a lot.
Yeah, we have a lot of clinics in the U.S. and the U.K. We're actually in Holland now, Canada. So we're trying to take over the world with a chiropractic lifestyle message.
And we were talking off camera, and Dane's like, dude, we have to start this interview now because we're leaving all this stuff on the cutting room floor. So before we jump into that, let's just mention about Paul Reed and ChiroFest and what he's doing. And that's when I first met you.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about how he can bring people together. You're number 9.
Yeah, so, here's the deal, guys. 28 years I've been a chiropractor. I used to go to DE when I was a little boy, listen to Sid. Ian Grassam, Jimmy Gregg, all these amazing. And then, got into practice and then would go to Parker. And now, we have events. And I believe, it's just what I believe, but I think the market out there is even colder, because, people are sicker and there's more disease out there and there's more policy changes that aren't supporting chiropractic and vaccinations and stuff. It's a really rough, cold environment out in the public, and chiropractors are a lot of times islands, they're on an island by themselves. And you come to ChiroFest to reconnect with your purpose. I know for me, I've been around it my whole life, grandfather, father, uncles, and I'm here sitting, I'm like, you know what? I'm so reconnected with my purpose. And I know when I go back to my practice on Monday, people are going to get better care. And so we live in a world where it's cold out there, Jim. We come to these events to get by the fire, to connect with one another, because like-minded individuals, we can support one another.
And then when you see team members like us all charging, we're all at the track and we're all ready to just go after it. We're running as hard as we can most days until it's time to rest.
Yeah.
But with 8 weeks to wellness, you didn't absolutely know how big the brand would become, did you?
Right. Not really. I mean, to be honest, it started in my own practice because I wanted to answer one question. And I was talking about it today. Is we go to seminars and say, well, how do I get more new patients, and how do I see more visits, and how do I increase my practice volume and collect more money and collect more cash? But before those questions, you have to answer one question, and that is, how do I help my patients get the best results possible?
Absolutely.
Because the thing that has made chiropractic different my whole life, and it's the results that we get with our patients, right? And so, why do people come seek our care? It's because they have a problem, and they're looking for a natural alternative, and they're looking for a solution that doesn't require medication. That's why they come see us, and some people have big problems. Some people have smaller problems. Some people, they want to avoid problems down the road. They bring their kids to us because they don't want their kids to suffer with the same things they suffered with. You know what I mean? And they see the benefits of chiropractic care. So I think all patients come to us because they want problems solved, and that's what we are. We're problem solvers. Now, to solve a problem, you have to know what the problem is. So you and I were talking about, I use labs in my practice. I use x-ray, I use nerve scans. I use body composition because I don't know where the problem's coming from. Could be a structural problem, could be a chemical problem, could be both of those. But I know once I identify the problem, then the solution becomes pretty paramount, pretty evident, right? So the solution may be an adjustment. The solution may be adjustment to the nutrition. It may be supplements. It may be exercise. But once I know what the problem is and we've diagnosed that, then we can apply a solution. In this case, it's 8 weeks to wellness because we want to address, like we were talking about, what did you say, the 4-dimensional lifestyle? You remember what you said?
Yeah, the eating right, the thinking right, the moving right, and then the adjustment. And everybody's desperately looking for the eat right, think right, move right, and they're all neglecting number 4. So if the chiropractor flips the script and starts them with the adjustment first, now they have the resource to learn from. What do I do when I don't know what my kids should be eating? Well, I have a chiropractor.
Right.
What happens when I'm struggling with my mental stability and I'm stressed with work and my relationship? Well, I have a chiropractor. Right. What happens when I don't know how to exercise? I'm afraid of the gym and I've never touched a weight in the past 10 years since high school football.
Right.
Well, you have a chiropractor.
Absolutely.
And
but let's deal with the elephant in the room for you chiropractors is, a lot of times as chiropractors, and I consider myself a principal chiropractor, but you feel less than principled if you go out and you're recommending these things. But I would say it's not chiropractic or nutrition or chiropractic or functional exercise or chiropractic or mindfulness and meditation. It's chiropractic and, right? And we were talking, but I always say it doesn't make me less of a dentist if I'm a dentist. If I say, hey, Jim, I want you to leave and brush and floss, you're still going to come to see me because you still need to get checked. But when you come, because you've done the home care, the brushing and flossing and the hygiene, when you come, you're going to be more attached to me because of the results that you're getting with your teeth. You're like, I want to stick with this guy because I'm getting amazing results. Mm-hmm. But if you weren't brushing and flossing, you go to your dentist, you'd have all these cavities. You're like, why isn't this guy helping me? You know? So to me, it's always about outcomes, and it's about helping people solve problems. And when you help them solve a problem, they will pay you, and they will tell others, hey, you have that problem? I had that problem, and I went to go see this chiropractor and completely changed my life.
And I have a few mental techniques for all of you out there watching. If you're finding value in this, hit the share button. If you love what we're doing with Chiro Hustle, hashtag Chiro Hustle out there. And hit that heart button if you love what we're doing here. But there's a couple concepts I wanted to share with you. One of them was the blood work that you guys do. Mm-hmm. And most people don't know how trashy their blood actually is. And if they knew how trashy their blood actually was, they'd do something about it immediately. And they'd probably start to feel better, perform better. And then actually their lifestyle would improve dramatically. Yeah. And I said to you, like, if somebody wants to find out about you and they are like a private investigator, what do? They look in your trash. And I said to Doc, I was like, most people's blood is just trash. Right. So if you can like decode and look at the blueprint of like their metabolic health, sure, then you can start to give improvements for them.
Absolutely.
And one of the other things I tell to people all the time is you either going to invest in your health now or you will pay for sickness later.
Absolutely.
And those are two things that are kind of like on the same topic. Yeah. So invest in your health now. Do 8 weeks to wellness and figure out what is the wrong coding inside of you, why you don't have energy, right, why you feel like crap, why you think everything's against you, why your mindset's shifted into this negative stance, because inside of you, you're not working with good mechanics. Sure. You don't have the fundamentals figured out. Right. Your fundamentals are jacked.
Absolutely. So let's talk about a real case that happened this week. On Wednesday, before I flew out here, I had a guy come in, and earlier, 10 weeks earlier, he come to me, and he's been a patient for 10 years, him and his family. He's got a son and a daughter and his wife, and great chiropractic patients coming every 2 weeks. But he pulls me aside one day, and he says, Dr. Dane, can I talk to you about something? We have open adjusting. So I'm like, sure. He's like, no, I need to talk to you about this in private. I'm like, no problem, Raj. We go back in the room. He closes the door. He says, Dr. Dane, I have low testosterone. Is there anything that you can do or you know of to help? And immediately, because I have the training and understanding, I said, Raj, are you taking a statin medication? He said, yeah, I've been taking one for 2 years. I said, well, do you know that testosterone needs cholesterol to be produced? I said, because you're taking a statin, your statin is reducing your cholesterol, and thereby it's also reducing your testosterone. And he looked at me and he said, why didn't my doctor tell me this? I said, because it's a knee-jerk reaction if your cholesterol is over 200 to put you on a statin, even though 95% of the time people don't need that. I said, why don't we do this? Let's look at your labs. I'm going to send you for labs. Let's look at your labs. Let's sit down. Let's discuss it. So he made an appointment. Now it's 10 weeks later. Okay, he took himself off a statin, because we looked at all his other inflammatory markers, all those other lipids. We looked at his particle density, particle size, all the things that we look at to know is, okay, is high cholesterol dangerous? No, it's not dangerous. You're not inflamed. You know, he had a little bit of weight he was carrying in his belly. He lost 25 pounds. He lost 20 pounds in his belly. But here's the cool thing. He was having ED at 44 years old. He was having ED. Now, that obviously has to be embarrassing as a man, okay? And his testosterone was less than 200. Now, 10 weeks later, right, did 8 weeks and looks amazing, feels amazing, got off all the sugars, exercising, still getting adjusted, but his testosterone doubled. And guess what, he's able to do with his wife that he couldn't do before. But the thing I thought is how many people out there, Jim, are suffering with this problem and they don't know that a chiropractor could actually help boost your testosterone? Now, was it the adjustment? Was it the fact that, I changed his diet? Was it the fact that, he was meditating? Was it the fact he started exercising and put muscle on his body? Yes, 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 and yes. And was it also the fact that he got off the statin because he learned about what the side effects are? The side effects of the statin was actually lower testosterone, but nobody ever explained that to him. And we have this power every day for people to come in with these issues that they're taking meds. And I always say, Jim, if I ask you, I'm like, tell me one thing or two things or maybe three things that you could do to dramatically improve your health and maybe your longevity and quality of life, because let's face it, your health, it is the backbone of your life. Your health's the foundation. It's the foundation of your quality of life. So if you wanted to improve the quality of your life, what can you do to feel better, to move better, to have better energy? I've never once had a patient say, take more drugs. Never once when I ask them, what could you do to improve your health? They said to me, well, I could take this new medication. Never once. They don't even think about it. So the fact of the matter is, guys, people don't want to take more meds. They're tired of taking meds. They're tired of the side effects. And they're tired of that model. But they need help. they have problems, right? And sometimes it's a problem because their doctor says you have high cholesterol, and they don't understand that having high cholesterol is not the problem, right? It's having heart disease is the problem. So if you have these tools in your arsenal where you can look and say, yeah, you have high cholesterol, Raj, but this is an issue because your blood sugar's normal, your insulin's fine, you're not inflamed, just relax, okay? And he chose to take himself off the statin, and I see this every single day in my practice.
The things he shared with me is like a gospel. I watched Tim Young speak at Cal Jam a couple years ago, and he gave this big talk of God created a chiropractor. And God did create a chiropractor, and he created Dane Donohue. And when I hear you speak, it's like hearing the gospel of health. And I think that anybody out there that loves what we're doing together, they need to start paying attention to 8 Weeks of Wellness program. If they want more information on that, is it 8ww.com?
So 8ww.com is the patient program. They can go there and see what patients learn about. So 8 Weeks of Wellness, chiropractic, functional training, nutrition, paleo, keto-based diet, get the sugars out of your diet, right? And then it's massage, targeted massage, and meditation. And we combine all those 5 therapies over an 8-week program, very structured, right? And they do it in the office, pre and post testing, lab work, body composition, chiropractic testing, and then we do it 8 weeks later. So 8ww.com, you're going to learn what the patients do, right? That's where they go. Learn8ww.com, so LEARN 8, the number 8ww.com, is where doctors can learn about the program. How do you incorporate, because everybody wants to incorporate wellness into their practice, they just don't know how to do it. It's like, because you can do it and it can really distract you from your mission of chiropractic. So I'm here to tell you, this isn't for everybody. If you don't have a system, you can spend a lot of time trying to figure this out on your own, right? And really take you away from your purpose on the chiropractic side. You know what I mean? So, I always say this is the warning. You have to love it. You have to live it. You have to own it. You can't sell something you don't own if you're not living it. Part of this for me is, hey, let's get healthy as a chiropractor, because people look at me or they look at somebody else and say, wow, 50 years old? Yeah, he's doing okay.
You look good, boss.
Yeah, well, thanks. But I want people to know that I'm a role model so that I'm practicing what I'm preaching. I'm not perfect. I make a lot of mistakes. But at 50, I take no medications. I feel good. Everything's working good. And life is awesome, And why couldn't life be awesome at 50, 60, 70? You know what I mean? So I want to be that coach and role model and have that plan for patients so that they can take their health back.
Well, this is what it looks like when stars align, and I love you spending some time with me today at ChiroFest 2019. Thank you, Paul Reed, for bringing us all together in one house and to let us build this fellowship and this chiropractic tribe and to build this unity. And just love this guy. Once again, share this. If you guys need help with websites or digital marketing, reach out to Natalie at Local Gold. And if you guys want to be a guest on Chiro Hustle, direct message me and we'll get you on before the new year. But I'm going to go ahead and close out. Is that okay?
Yeah, I just want to say, I always say this anytime you interview me, but you have one of the biggest hearts in our profession that I've ever seen, and I can't thank you enough because, guys, our message is only as good as our distribution. If we have this awesome message, but we're not getting it out to the world, then what are we doing? So you're just an incredible human being, and I wish people knew how big your heart was.
Well, thank you. And I know that our audience is out there watching, and I'm helping them thrive by keeping free speech alive and well in the chiropractic profession. And I know that we need to get this message outside the brick and mortars. That's why I took to the channel of communication, which were these Facebook Lives, and I figured out how to dial it in to make it as pro as I could, to where when people watch this, we boost the what do they say, the brand awareness and like the trust of the brand by doing these.
Right.
But they wouldn't know what you said on stage and they weren't here.
Right.
So by me doing this, this
Right.
pulls you away from that big stage in there, and it gets you intimate with our audience out there.
Right.
So thank you for recognizing the contribution that I do.
Absolutely. You work your butt off. Yeah, literally.
Well, I'm going to close out by saying you guys are just 8 weeks away from good health, and you're just one story away. Keep hustling. We'll see you guys in the next one.